What if a new discovery in Egypt just shattered everything we thought we knew about human history? Not a small mistake, not a missing detail, but a discovery so strange that scientists themselves are struggling to explain it. Because deep beneath the sands of Egypt, archaeologists uncovered something that simply should not exist. For centuries, Egypt has been seen as one of humanity's greatest ancient civilizations, the land of pyramids, pharaohs, lost tombs, and impossible monuments that continue to confuse modern engineers. But now, a shocking new discovery is forcing researchers to ask a terrifying question. What if our understanding of ancient history is completely wrong? It began during a routine archaeological investigation near one of Egypt's oldest sacred regions. At first, researchers believed they were examining ordinary underground ruins buried beneath layers of sand and collapsed stone. But as excavation teams dug deeper, they uncovered something unexpected. Massive underground structures, perfectly cut stone corridors, and signs of engineering so precise that experts struggled to explain how ancient builders could have created them thousands of years ago. The deeper scientists explored, the stranger the sight became. Some chambers appeared deliberately sealed. Others contained enormous stone blocks fitted together with almost impossible precision. No large gaps, no visible mortar, just perfectly aligned stonework that looked more advanced than it should for its supposed age. And then came the discovery that shocked everyone. Researchers identified evidence suggesting parts of the structure may be significantly older than historians originally believed. Far older, potentially older than some of Egypt's earliest dynasties themselves. If true, this changes everything. Because according to mainstream history, Egyptian civilization developed gradually over time. Simple settlements evolved into kingdoms. Kingdoms evolved into advanced architecture. But discoveries like this suggest something very different. A sudden appearance of highly sophisticated engineering, as if advanced knowledge already existed from the very beginning. And this isn't the first time Egypt has challenged the timeline of history. For decades, archaeologists and engineers have debated how ancient Egyptians achieved such extraordinary precision using supposedly primitive tools. The pyramids alone contain mysteries still unsolved today. Stone blocks weighing multiple tons, perfect astronomical alignments, complex underground chambers, and construction techniques modern engineers still struggle to replicate. But this new discovery pushes those mysteries even further. Because the newly uncovered structures don't simply look ancient. They look deliberate, carefully designed, almost as if whoever built them possessed knowledge far beyond what historians expected from that period. Naturally, scientists began searching for answers. Some experts argue the structures were simply misunderstood. Others claim the dating methods might be inaccurate. But even among skeptics, one thing became impossible to ignore. This discovery does not fit comfortably into the accepted story of human civilization. And whenever history stops making sense, controversy follows. Alternative researchers immediately propose radical theories. Some believe the structures could be evidence of a lost civilization that existed before dynastic Egypt, a civilization whose knowledge may have influenced later Egyptian culture. Others suggest ancient builders possessed technologies or engineering methods that have since been forgotten. And then there are the most controversial theories of all. Theories involving outside influence, forbidden knowledge, or connections to civilizations that vanished long before recorded history began. Now, mainstream archaeologists strongly reject many of these claims. But even they admit the discovery raises difficult questions. Because the deeper researchers investigate ancient Egypt, the less simple the story becomes. Take the precision alone. Modern scans of ancient Egyptian structures continue revealing mathematical accuracy that feels almost impossible for the time period. Perfect alignments, symmetrical carvings, stone surfaces polished with extraordinary smoothness. And now this newly discovered site adds even more unexplained complexity. But perhaps the most disturbing part is this. We may still be looking at only a fraction of what remains buried beneath Egypt. Modern technology like ground-penetrating radar and underground scanning has revealed possible hidden chambers and unknown voids beneath several ancient sites, meaning there could be entire structures still hidden beneath the desert, completely untouched, waiting. And if discoveries like this continue, historians may eventually be forced to rewrite major parts of human history itself. Because what happens if ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we believed? What happens if knowledge existed long before our official timelines say it should? And what if Egypt is not the beginning of the story, but the remains of something even older? That possibility terrifies many researchers, because it means history may not simply be incomplete. It may be broken. The deeper archaeologists explored the newly discovered structures beneath Egypt, the more terrifying the mystery became, because these ruins weren't crude or primitive. They were engineered with a level of precision that shouldn't have existed thousands of years ago. At first, researchers believed they were uncovering ordinary underground ruins, collapsed corridors, ancient burial chambers, perhaps forgotten storage rooms hidden beneath layers of desert sand. But as excavation teams descended deeper underground, they realized this site was something entirely different. The corridors were too precise, the stonework too advanced, and the scale of the underground complex far larger than anyone expected. Some of the passageways extended deep beneath the earth, carved through massive stone with astonishing symmetry. Walls appeared unnaturally smooth. Corners were sharply defined. And in several areas, giant stone blocks fit together so perfectly that even a thin blade could barely pass between them. No modern cement, no visible bonding material, just flawless construction. And that's where scientists began running into serious problems. Because according to conventional history, the civilization responsible for these structures should not have possessed the tools necessary to create them, at least not at this level of accuracy. Ancient Egyptians supposedly used copper tools, stone hammers, and primitive chisels. But many engineers argue those tools alone cannot fully explain the extraordinary precision seen in certain ancient sites, especially when working with granite, one of the hardest natural stones on Earth. Yet inside these newly discovered underground structures, granite appeared everywhere. Massive granite slabs, polished stone surfaces, deep cuts so straight they almost resemble machine work. And the deeper researchers investigated, the more anomalies they found. In one section, archaeologists discovered narrow shafts descending vertically into darkness. No clear purpose, no obvious access routes, just deep, carefully constructed shafts disappearing underground. Some researchers believe they may have served symbolic or ritual functions. Others think they could have been connected to ventilation or structural design. But no one knows for certain. And then there were the chambers themselves. Several underground rooms showed signs of deliberate architectural planning far beyond what scientists expected. Some walls appeared acoustically engineered, amplifying echoes and low-frequency vibrations. Even footsteps behaved strangely inside certain chambers. Whispers carried unnaturally far. Tiny sounds seemed to resonate throughout the structure. Now, mainstream archaeologists usually dismiss theories involving ancient energy systems or advanced lost technology. But even they admit the acoustics inside some ancient Egyptian chambers are remarkable. And once again, researchers were forced to ask an uncomfortable question. Why would ancient builders place such enormous effort into underground spaces few people would ever see? Because constructing beneath the earth is vastly harder than building on the surface. The labor alone would have been enormous, the planning even more difficult. Yet whoever built these structures clearly considered the underground sections extremely important. And perhaps the strangest discovery came from modern scanning technology. Ground-penetrating radar revealed possible hidden voids beyond several sealed walls. Unknown spaces still inaccessible today, meaning parts of the underground complex may remain completely untouched, buried for thousands of years. No human entry, no modern contamination, just darkness preserved since the ancient world. Imagine what might still exist behind those walls. Hidden records, forgotten artifacts, or evidence capable of rewriting the history of civilization itself. Because every new discovery beneath Egypt seems to raise the same disturbing possibility. Ancient civilizations may have been far more advanced than we've been taught, and not just spiritually or artistically advanced, technologically advanced, architecturally advanced, possibly even scientifically advanced in ways we still don't fully understand. Naturally, this has sparked fierce debate among historians, archaeologists, and alternative researchers. Some experts argue we underestimate ancient human intelligence. Others believe important knowledge may simply have been lost over time. But alternative theorists take things much further. They believe discoveries like this hint at the existence of a forgotten prehistoric civilization, one that existed long before dynastic Egypt and passed down its knowledge to later cultures. A civilization erased by time, but not completely forgotten. And while mainstream science rejects many of these theories, there's one problem nobody can ignore. The mysteries keep growing. Because every time researchers uncover something new beneath Egypt, it creates more questions and answers. How were these underground structures designed with such precision? Why do some chambers appear intentionally hidden? And why does the engineering seem so advanced for its supposed age? Even modern engineers studying ancient sites sometimes admit they are astonished by what they see. And perhaps the most unsettling part of all is this: we may only be scratching the surface, because beneath the sands of Egypt lie countless unexplored ruins, hidden chambers, and buried structures still waiting to be discovered. Entire worlds hidden underground. And if this latest discovery is any indication, what remains buried may completely transform our understanding of history itself. But things are about to become even stranger. What if ancient Egypt didn't create this knowledge, but inherited it from something far older? Because some researchers now believe the newest discovery in Egypt points to a civilization erased from history itself. The deeper scientists investigate Egypt's ancient structures, the harder it becomes to explain them using the standard timeline of history. Because according to conventional archaeology, human civilization developed slowly. Primitive villages came first, then farming, then simple cities. And only after thousands of years did humanity supposedly achieve advanced engineering and monumental architecture. But discoveries beneath Egypt seem to challenge that entire progression. Instead of gradual development, researchers keep finding evidence of sudden sophistication. Massive stone structures appearing almost out of nowhere. Precise engineering from the earliest dynasties. Advanced mathematics embedded into architecture. And underground complexes so ambitious they feel centuries ahead of their time. That's why some alternative historians believe ancient Egypt may not have been the true beginning of civilization. Instead, they think Egypt inherited knowledge from an older, forgotten culture, a civilization lost long before recorded history began. At first, this idea sounds impossible, but strange clues continue fueling speculation. Across the world, ancient cultures tell remarkably similar stories. Legends of a great catastrophe, a flood, a destruction that wiped out an earlier civilization, and survivors who carried sacred knowledge into the new world afterward. The Egyptians spoke of a distant first time, a mysterious era when divine beings supposedly ruled the earth. In Mesopotamia, ancient texts describe powerful beings descending from the heavens. Meanwhile, legends from South America speak of advanced gods arriving after a great flood to rebuild civilization. Different continents, different cultures, yet strangely similar themes. Some researchers believe these stories may preserve fragmented memories of a real prehistoric civilization destroyed thousands of years ago, and discoveries in Egypt only intensify those suspicions, because certain ancient Egyptian structures display levels of precision difficult to explain even today. Perfect alignments with celestial objects, massive granite blocks transported incredible distances, stone cutting techniques that continue baffling engineers, and now, newly discovered underground structures revealing even more impossible craftsmanship. Some experts argue we simply underestimate ancient people, that human ingenuity alone explains everything. And perhaps that's true, but others believe something deeper is hidden beneath the surface of history. Because if an advanced civilization existed before recorded history, traces of it would be extremely difficult to find today. Time destroys almost everything. Cities vanish, metal corrodes, wood decays, entire coastlines disappear beneath rising oceans. After thousands of years, only the strongest stone structures might survive. And Egypt is filled with stone structures. Some researchers even point to geological evidence suggesting parts of the Sahara Desert were once fertile and inhabited long before Egyptian civilization officially emerged. Ancient river systems, lost lakes, evidence of human activity in areas now completely barren, meaning entire prehistoric cultures could still remain buried beneath the desert sands, waiting to be discovered. And this possibility becomes even more unsettling when combined with another mystery. Why do some ancient Egyptian structures appear technologically superior to later ones? Normally, civilizations improve over time. Architecture becomes more advanced. Engineering becomes more refined. But in Egypt, some of the oldest monuments seem among the most precise ever built. The Great Pyramid, massive granite temples, perfectly aligned underground chambers, as if knowledge was greatest at the very beginning and slowly declined afterward. That pattern deeply troubles historians, because it feels backwards, and it has led some theorists to propose an extraordinary possibility. Ancient Egyptians may have inherited fragments of knowledge from a civilization far older than themselves. Perhaps not full technology, perhaps not machines, but enough knowledge to inspire monumental construction and astonishing engineering achievements. And then came the most controversial theory of all, the idea that this lost civilization may not have been entirely human. Ancient astronaut theorists believe myths about gods descending from the sky may reflect real encounters with advanced beings in the distant past. According to this theory, extraterrestrials shared knowledge with early humans, influencing architecture, astronomy, mathematics, and religion. Mainstream scientists reject these claims completely. There is no direct proof of alien involvement, but the theory continues gaining attention because of one simple reason. The mysteries remain unsolved, and every new discovery beneath Egypt adds more fuel to the debate, especially when modern technology keeps revealing hidden chambers, underground voids, and structures previously unknown to science. It's almost as if ancient Egypt is still hiding something buried intentionally, something waiting beneath the sand for the modern world to uncover. And perhaps the most disturbing possibility is this. What if our history is not simply incomplete, but deliberately forgotten? Because if an advanced civilization truly existed before recorded history, it would completely transform humanity's understanding of itself. Everything we believe about the origins of civilization would change. And maybe that's why discoveries like these create so much controversy, because they threaten the very foundation of the historical timeline we trusted for generations. But the mystery is about to become even darker. Some chambers beneath Egypt were never meant to be opened, and what researchers discovered inside only made the mystery darker. As excavation teams pushed deeper underground, they uncovered sealed rooms hidden behind massive stone blocks untouched for thousands of years. Inside were strange carvings, broken artifacts, and symbols researchers still struggle to fully explain. But the most unsettling part was the structure itself. Some chambers seemed deliberately designed to amplify sound and vibration. Others contained unusual alignments connected to specific stars in the night sky. And modern scans continue revealing hidden voids still buried beneath the site. Unknown spaces, unopened chambers, secrets still trapped underground. Because the deeper scientists dig beneath Egypt, the more impossible history becomes. What if the greatest mystery in Egypt isn't what was discovered, but what was lost? The newest discoveries beneath Egypt are forcing scientists to confront an uncomfortable possibility. Human history may not be the complete story. The underground structures, the impossible precision, the hidden chambers buried beneath the sand, none of it fits neatly into the timeline we've been taught. And maybe that's because an earlier civilization existed long before recorded history, a civilization whose knowledge survived only in fragments through ancient Egypt. If that's true, then the pyramids are more than monuments. They are echoes, warnings, proof that humanity may have forgotten its own origins. Subscribe to Mystery of the Ancients and join us as we uncover the secrets buried beneath time itself. Because the deeper we explore history, the less impossible the legends begin to seem.